Hi everyone. So today we are going to go over the practice worksheet problems that you just completed in class. After you watch this video, you are going to complete the Microsoft form reflection. And then tomorrow in class, you will be grouped based off of your responses. So here we have 3 different factor completely problems. And remember that anytime we see the words factor completely, the first thing that we have to figure out is what the GCF or greatest common factor is. Okay, so with number 1, my GCF here, we have 3x cubed minus 6x squared minus 144x. So my GCF is going to be 3x. So what that means is I can factor out a 3x from each of the terms in that original expression. And left over we have x squared minus 2x minus 48. So what we are going to do now is focus just on this part inside the parentheses. And we are going to factor that piece separately. So we do our MAF. And my M is going to be 1 times negative 48. So we are multiplying to negative 48. And my A is going to be negative 2. We're adding to negative 2. So now we need 2 numbers that multiply to negative 48 and add together to give us negative 2. And those 2 values are going to be negative 8 and positive 6. So now what we're going to do is take that x squared minus 2x minus 48 and break it up. So we have x squared minus 8x plus 6x minus 48. We split into 2 groups. So now we know x squared and 8x have an x in common. So we're going to factor that out. And left over I have x minus 8. We know whatever is inside of the parentheses here is going to get copied over onto the right-hand side. So I copy that x minus 8 over, and all we have to do is figure out what goes in the blank in between, and that we're going to look at this term for. So I already have the x I need, but I need 6x, so we're going to do plus 6 in the middle. So now my final answer here, we have that x minus 8 that we copied. Super important because we copied it, so it has to be in the answer. And then our second part is the 2 pieces that were outside of those parentheses, and that's the x plus 6. And then the very last thing we have to do with our answer is go back to the beginning of this problem where we had that GCF, and I'm going to take that GCF of 3x and I have to bring it down in front of my answer. So our final answer here is 3x times x minus 8 times x plus 6. All right. So we do the same thing for number 2. First thing we're looking for is the GCF. And again, just like the last one, my GCF here also has an x in it because each of these 3 terms has an x. So my GCF here is 2x. So we're going to factor out that 2x. And left over I have x squared minus 8x plus 16. Then we are going to look at just the part inside the parentheses, and we're going to do our MAF accordingly. So I have 1 times 16, which gives us a positive 16. My A is negative 8, so I need 2 numbers that multiply to positive 16 and add to negative 8. Since I have to add to a negative number and multiply to a positive, both of my factors are going to have to be negative. So we are going to have negative 4 and negative 4. So now if I come over here and we're going to actually factor that x squared minus 8x plus 16. So I have x squared minus 4x minus 4x plus 16. Break this into two groups, just like we did before. X squared minus 4x has an x in common. Left over, I have x minus 4. We know this factor is going to be repeated on the right-hand side. Then we want to look at this term, negative 4x. So I have the x already. I still need the minus 4. So my two factors are going to be the original x minus 4 that we repeated and that x minus 4 from the front of the parentheses. Then the last thing we have to do is take our GCF and bring it down in front, 2x. So our final answer is 2x times x minus 4 times x minus 4. Now our last problem here, same situation. We're factoring completely, so I want to look for my GCF first. With this problem, that 25 at the end here does not have an x on it, which means my GCF is only going to be a number, which this time is 5. So I'm going to factor out the 5, and left over we have x squared minus 10x plus, minus 2x plus 5. Okay, so now we want to look at this inside piece here. And if I look at this inside piece, we have m, a, f. So I am multiplying 1 times 5, which gives us 5. And I want to add to negative 2. Now, the issue with this problem is that the only way I can multiply to 5 is if I use 5 and 1. 5 and 1, even if I had negatives, are never going to get us to that negative 2 that we need. So what this means is that our original problem can only be factored that one time, only by taking that 5 out, the GCF. I cannot factor x squared minus 2x plus 5 any more than it already is given to us. So that is our final answer. Okay, so just like I said, make sure after you watch this video, you go and fill out the Microsoft forms that I sent out to you on Schoology, and I will see you all in class tomorrow. Have a good day.